right. Hi, everybody. It's Jeff from Ayelet Tours. And since 1986, we've been connecting people to Israel and the Jewish world. We are the official travel partners for Hadassah missions to Israel. We run trips under the banner of the Traveling University, featuring outstanding scholars running trips all over the world. It just so happens, by coincidence, we have a trip coming up to Romania with Professor Yael Strom and Elizabeth Schwartz this coming May. Okay, it's not a coincidence, but there you have it. We've got trips to Uzbekistan, Cuba, Mexico, Poland, really, my goodness, all over the place. And of course, you can find information about all of those trips and so much more on our website, ayelet.com. I hope everybody is doing well out there. Today is August 7th, 2025. So if that is the day when you are watching this, you're probably watching this live. And we welcome you. We would, of course, this is a webinar. You can see us, we cannot see you, but we would love you to participate. You can do so by posting questions in the Q&A, and after the formal presentation, we will get to as many of those as possible. We are privileged to be joined this evening by Peninah Zilberman, who is normally in Romania. And we're very lucky that, or I guess maybe she's very lucky to happen to be in North America right now to make it a little easier for her, so it's not the middle of the night. But very much looking forward to this presentation. Just a couple of things. Number one, this is a recorded session, so if you would like to watch it again, or you know somebody else who might be interested, we will be sending out a link to everybody afterwards and posting it to our YouTube channel. So I hope you will check that out. We'll talk about it again later on, but we do have future programs coming up. We hope you'll participate. We've got one with Savor, which is a wonderful organization that will be leading a tour to Italy next year, and we'll be doing a program on August 17th in the evening. So mark your calendars for that, a free program that's coming up. And I think that's it. I just wanted to make sure we got that across. Peninah, before I turn it over to you for the actual presentation, I'm just curious. Are there common misconceptions, or what's the most common misconception people have about Romania that is dispelled when they go to visit?
I'm really embarrassed to say it, but some people think that Romanians are thieves. Well, they stole horses, not money.
It's fascinating. Well, if you didn't know that, or you don't know your Bucharest from your Budapest, you're in the right place tonight. Peninah is going to take us through a wonderful presentation. And so for that presentation, I will turn it over to you, Peninah Zilberman. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeff. And thank you very much to Ayelet, organization, business of travel that invited me to give this presentation about Romania. So before I start with the PowerPoint, I just want briefly, I know you read part of my bio in the marketing and publicity, but just for you to know that both of my parents were born in Romania, Holocaust survivors. They met on the boat to Israel in 1948, and I was born in Israel in 1950. And I just had, on August the 4th, my special birthday right here in Toronto. I've been a Jewish educator in Toronto, started as a teacher, moved into a principalship of Hebrew schools, and my last job was the director of the Holocaust Museum in Toronto. I dedicate my last 12 years by opening the foundation in Sighet in Romania. Many of you must have heard about the name of the city in relation to the late Ellie Weisel, that he was born there. My mother was born in Sighet, and I chose Sighet over Bucharest, my father's roots, and that's where I live. It's a beautiful, authentic region, and I hope some of you will join us on the trip, because we do have a stop in Sighet. Sighet has a rich cultural life in the past. Today, hardly anything, but all the Jewish heritage monuments and architecture is there. So this is what I do in the last 12 years. I established the foundation. We also lead boutique family roots journeys, private ones. And in addition, during the school year, since it's now compulsory to teach about the Holocaust in Romania in grade 11, and since I'm an educator, I work with teachers and with high school students through the year. And now I would like to start our official presentation. So all of you have heard, oh, Romania, Romania, Mama Liga Tsuika Hora. So it's a beautiful song. You can probably listen to it, or you are going to hear it if you'll be on our trip. Mamaliga is the national food. I'll get there when we speak about food. Tsuika is a special liqueur. And the hora, by the way, the Israeli hora is based on the hora from Romania, because many, many Romanians came in the late 18th century to Rosh Pina, if you've been there. So we do have a great connection to the state of Israel. And even during the communism regime, Romania was the only communist country that had diplomatic relations with Israel. So we should keep that in mind. I want to show you the geographical location. And this is Romania with the 10 major regions and the countries pre-1945. The only difference today is, instead of Yugoslavia, we have here 5-6 countries, and we no longer border with the Soviet Union, but we border with Ukraine, and we don't border with Poland or with Czechoslovakia, but we border with Slovakia and no Poland, okay? So for those that are doing some genealogical research, it is extremely important that you make sure that you're looking for the right years in order to find your family members in the right countries. Next, please. Now, just basic things. Romania, the name is from the Romans. The language is Romanian, which belongs to the Latin families. Therefore, if you speak French, Spanish, Latin, a little bit of Portuguese, Italian, still you can understand. And even English, in the English language, like words that are international, they are also in the Romanian language. In addition, because the Ottoman Empire ruled Romania or certain areas of Romania, there are also words in Turkish that not everybody knows, but it just happens that they are. The capital is Bucharest. The population as of 2020 census, there were 20 million. Now, I must tell you that many of those 20 million are actually living outside of Romania, but they are still counted. Now, Romania has many, many faces and went through many historical challenges. When you travel in Romania, in many of the present cities, you see walls, a wall. And the reason is, as I wrote here, 1859 kingdoms. It used to be principalities. A man, a prince, would have money, buy a piece of land, build a wall around, and there he is. A Groisemacher, you know the way we say in Yiddish. He is already somebody. So, therefore, there's a lot of customs and traditions that were based and came from that period of time. Now, the new state named Romania by the name in 1866. As I mentioned, the Ottoman Empire ruled until 1922. Just in brackets, maybe you're even shocked, but in Romania, they were Sephardic Jews. Why? Because the Ottoman Empire brought merchants and lawyers and accountants, and most of those people lived in the southern part of the country. Today, there's no remnant of these people, and also many people might have roots of Sfaradim, but they are not aware of it, not by their last name, and not that anybody has told them. Now, at the same time, the Austro-Hungarian Empire also ruled in Romania, in the area that it's called today North Transylvania. That's basically the border between Romania today and Hungary. That happened until 1918, the end of First World War. And in 1918, Romania was an independent country state. Communist state started in 1948, and the Revolution of December 1989 concluded the communist regime, and today we are a republic, social democratic. And what is a Romanian saying? Totul va fi bine. Everything will be okay. Something like Hakol beseder in Israel. All right, please, next. This is the map of Romania of today that we will be traveling through. I just want to mention, Jeff, can I use the mouse?
I don't know. You can try.
Or here. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to highlight on the map some cities. Capital is Bucharest or Bucharest.
Yeah, I can kind of circle it. I'm not sure they can see your mouse.
Okay.
Hopefully
So
they can
you
see
can
my
do it.
mouse.
Yeah, okay. So that.
Mhm.
And then we have Galatz on the a bit north, right?
This is
That's
like
a
a word
not
search for me. Very fun, yeah.
that's good. North is Yash. That's a beautiful, beautiful city. Okay. And then we move north to Bukovina region. Now, Yash was a center of Jewish people. Bukovina region was a very large Jewish community. Unfortunately, all of them were deported. Maybe you've heard the name Transnistria, which was a settlement of camps, a former Russian base for soldiers. And then we move west to Siget at the border with Ukraine today, brackets. When the Ukraine war began in February, almost 3 years ago, many of the people who ran away literally came across Sighet, and they didn't remain in Romania. They realized it's not for them, but it was a cross point. Moving right west, we come to Satu Mare, the dynasty of the Satmar that started there. South, we come to Cluj, the Cluj-Napoca, which is the second largest city in Romania. Jewish community is not large, but the student community, international as well as local, is very large. So during the school year, shall I say October to May, there is almost over 1 million inhabitants in the city. It's a very expensive city, lots of issues with traffic, but it's a very lively city. Lots of nice restaurants and some Jewish heritage sites. But what is beautiful about Cluj is the architecture of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The buildings were not destroyed, and Ceausescu, the former communist ruler, would rather destroy a synagogue than he would destroy a building from the time of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Next, please. So Bucharest was known and still is today as the Little Paris. My grandmother, may she rest in peace, she would have been over 120 years today. She lived in Bucharest from 1910 till 1945, when she left by walking towards the Hungarian border. But she always told me that it was Little Paris. They had a factory of women lingerie, so she did travel to Paris on a number of occasions, spoke fluent French. French was the language of not just the academia, but also artists and local people. And at school, they also taught French. By the way, during communism time, the languages that were taught were Russian and German, beside, of course, Romanian. So the state of France donated and gave permission to build the Arc of Triomphe, what it's called. So when you come from the airport to enter Bucharest, you pass through this arc. Now, just this year, finally, they finished to clean it, to restore it, and tourists can go up and see the area. So this is a new highlight for Bucharest. Thank you. Can you move the next one? Well, this is me a few good years ago. But why I wanted to show it to you is because a few reasons. So it's Hotel Capsha on Calia Victorii. Calia is like boulevard, and Boulevard Elizabeth. Victoria was a queen, Elizabeth was a queen, so they were named after. It was the center of cultural life for Jews and non-Jews between the two world wars. Grandma, as it happens, was a very cultured lady, and she spoke 5 languages, and she supported many, many artists. Now, every day from 10 o'clock till 1:30, 2 o'clock, this was the place where the artists at all levels, meaning poets, authors, painters, what else? Any artistic playwriters, actors, musicians would come and talk, present their works, and so on. Now, in addition, some homes opened what was called in those days a salon. Today, we call a salon the room where we can host guests and so on. But in those days, between the two world wars, a salon meant that you have the ability to invite artists to your home. And again, something in brackets, just before the beginning of World War II, when anti-Semitism started to be very obvious in Romania, many artists were afraid to present their works in Cafe Capsha, and they would rather go to a home where it was supposedly safer. So this is a highlight. It's still there. They have a beautiful cafe, great coffee and cakes. There's nothing what to mention about it. So delicious. Thank you. Now here we come to the major synagogue. It's called Corral Temple. And as you can see, it was established in 1864. It has a Moorish architecture. You have some pictures of the inside and the one outside. What is important historically, you see Bucharest is on the line of earthquakes. And they've experienced a few. And on two occasions, the synagogue was damaged. Last time that there was a big earthquake was in the middle 80s. The synagogue was damaged. Then came the revolution in 89, so nobody took care. That wasn't a priority. And only about 15 years ago, it was finished and fixed up. And it's really a piece of art. As you can see, the ceilings, the Ezrat Hanashim, the second floor, is just an amazing place. So I hope some of you will have the opportunity to walk in and enjoy the sight, the colors. Of course, it took quite a lot of time to find the right formulas of the colors to be authentic to the original. Thank you. This is the Jewish Museum in Bucharest, a former synagogue within 10 minutes walk from the Corral Synagogue. And it just simply turned into a Jewish museum. It has contemporary exhibits. It has the basic Bucharest Jewry exhibit. But again, beside what they are showing, the structure itself, outside it doesn't look at all attractive. But you can see how pretty it is inside. And again, it was restored. It's exactly authentic. And it's just a marvelous place to walk around and get the synergy of those that live there and pray there and used it for their benefit of the services, the Jewish services. Now, the only synagogue that is functioning today is the one that I just showed before. It has Shabbat services. It doesn't have daily services, even though there are enough Jews in the city, but it's not that type of community. Next, please. Now, the Jewish Yiddish theater. The Yiddish theater started in Europe in Yash. And the person who started was the actor and playwright Avram Goldfaden. He actually was not born in Romania. He was born in Russia. But his mother was a very smart woman. It was the time when all Jewish young men would be drafted to the army. And it was just a matter of crossing the borders. So she told him, go to Yash, take all your plays, and you'll see you'll do well. And she was right. He started to organize a small theater, which developed much more after. He became very famous. At the time, there was no issue to find Yiddish actors who spoke real Yiddish, not learning the language only for the plays. And it flourished. Today in Yash, the only remnant that you can see of that time is a sculpture, a bust of Avram Goldfaden right in front of the Opera House. What happened is that after Second World War, the Yiddish theater moved to Bucharest. Here you can see the former director, Maya Morgenstein. She just went on retirement. So now we have a young, vibrant director, actually from Moldova. And there are plays almost every evening in Bucharest at the Jewish theater. The Jewish theater is no longer part of the Jewish community. It became part of the city of Bucharest. Next, please. Now, this building is just for you to see how enormous it is, how big, and where all the money of the former terrible ruler of Romania went. I refer, of course, to Ceausescu. This is the Parliament House. He had this idea that his Parliament House should be the largest one in the world. And he made it. For about 5 years, 24 hours of work took in order to build this. People were forced to work. Many people died because of accidents and so on. But he reached his goal. Today, it serves as some of the rooms as parliament. The others you can take, usually tourists take tours, and basically you walk through these huge rooms. Great marble, as you can see the poles. You can see the paintings. Everything is velvet. Every chair is red velvet, and so on and so forth. Next, please. We are here in Yash. And you have here two pictures. One of the inside of the synagogue of Aron HaKodesh. And the other one on top, you see from far away the building of the synagogue. Now, when you look, it's not really impressive. Not at all. However, the inside is extremely impressive. During communism time, this was a rule. Every Jewish property became the property of the state. If survivors did not come to claim their homes, it became the property of the state. The same thing, all the Jewish heritage sites. And of course, they didn't preserve them, or they used them as storages. This synagogue was used as a storage. Therefore, it deteriorated. So I would say about 20 years ago, the community received money to restore the synagogue. And just to restore the inside took 10 years. As we will be going and visiting the synagogue, of course, we'll be inside, you can appreciate what I'm saying, because there's a lot of items that were really made out of gold, not just on the outside, but the whole item. So it did take a very, very long time. Now, just outside of the synagogue, we can see the Holocaust Memorial. Almost every Jewish city has a Holocaust Memorial. The only question is if it was built during communism time or was it built after? Why? Because if it was built during communism time, the communists did not let the Jewish community in the inscription to say Nazism. They wanted the word to be replaced with fascism. So when you go and you visit any memorial and it has the word fascism or fascists, then you know that it took place, it was built during the time of communism. But every city has a memorial. Thank you. Next. In our journey, we are going to visit here and there, sporadically, some sites that do not have a Jewish content per se. Now, this site is well known as the monasteries in the Bukovina region, and they are also UNESCO World Heritage Site. Now, what is so important or unique about these monasteries? As you can see on the outside, they have beautiful paintings, and there are about 7 monasteries like this. We, of course, will not visit all the 7, but we'll visit 2, the most picturesque, the most prettiest ones. Now, they are not just painted on the outside, but also inside. As far as archaeologists are saying, they have about 500 to 700 years, and they've been, of course, restored as far as the paintings. And inside, most of the paintings depict stories from the Torah, from the 5 books of Moses, of the Old Testament, of course, our Torah. So that's going to be a different kind of heritage site to visit and to enjoy. It has beautiful parks around. Non-Jews are coming. It's like a pilgrimage. They come and they pray, they light candles. They have a whole process, but we will observe it in our ways. Next, please. And now we arrive to Maramures and Satu Mare regions. Now, why are they so famous? Not just because of the Satmar, but because today in Romania, these are the Maramures region is the most authentic one in Romania, as far as customs, as far as culture, as far as everything. So we are going to enjoy the people. That's probably where we are going to dance some hora and also drink palinka and eat great food. Now, what I do want to bring to your attention, this beautiful overview of the city that looks so green, it's still there like this today. You see, when you come to Sziget, you kind of feel that you are a few good years back. It's not a third world city by no means. You have everything you need, but the buildings and the whole architecture of the city is almost the same. My first time arriving to Romania was in May 1998, 10 years after the revolution. Well, I know the sidewalk so well. I know exactly where it's missing a brick or something. So there's no too many changes in the city, but it's beautiful and I love it there. So that's an overview of Sziget. At the bottom, you see the one and only synagogue that has remained. It used to be 10 major ones. And the irony in life is that the one who survived, which is this, it wasn't the Orthodox synagogue. Right across at the bottom, you can see the Orthodox synagogue. That was set on fire. But the one that was neolog is like in our days, conservative / reform, was the one that was not destroyed. And the one on top, as you look on the left corner, is one of the synagogues in Satu Mare, because Satu Mare has 3 synagogues in one complex of a area. Okay, next, please. Now, here you see a better view of the present synagogue, and you see the memorial monument. Now, the memorial monument has been built right on top, on the ground of the synagogue that we just saw before, the Orthodox one, and I said that it was set on fire. About 2,000 survivors returned from Auschwitz and other camps that they were deported during the 4 days in May 1944, May 16 to the 22nd. 12,500 Jews, children, men, women, seniors, many members of my mother's late family, including her, were deported, but only 2,000 returned. And even the 2,000 that returned were not only from Sziget, because what has happened after the war was if Moshe met a Rochel from who knows where, then they came together either as a couple or as a future couple, and so on and so forth. But those that returned wanted to create a memorial, and this is the memorial that's there. This is the place where we lead special memorial services. where we bring students to participate and so on. Next, please. This is part of some of the items that one can see in the Ellie Weisel Memorial House. Now, Ellie Weisel was born in Siget. They owned this house. His father was a member of the Jewish community as a leader, and Ellie went to the yeshiva, and they were quite involved. Where their house is today, as much as it was then, was the beginning of the ghetto. After the war, the house, as already you can imagine, became part of the property of the state, and 3 families lived in it. In the year 2002, the at the time present prime minister, who just passed away last week and was buried yesterday, Iliescu, invited Ellie Weisel and wanted to give him the house. And he said, thank you, I don't need the house. I want you to find apartments or any type of dwelling for these 3 families that live in the house. And I want you to turn the house into a museum for the memory of the Jewish culture in Maramures. And this is what this museum is all about. Next, please. Art and culture is really one of the major disciplines that Romanians are, I can say even, a word like worshiping. For them, it's extremely, extremely important, the art and the culture. And during communism, every worker, it didn't matter what type of work he or she would do in a factory, once a month they would get tickets to the opera, to a play, to a concert. And in a way, today, the very elderly ones are missing that, because today you have to pay for a ticket and they're not used to it. But I want here to highlight, of course, we see Ellie Weisel. But if you look on the left, you see a little sculpture of a bird. And this artist, Constantin Brâncuș, the first one in the list. If you've been to Paris, to the Pompidou Center, or you are planning to be there one day, you will see the whole exhibit. Most of the pieces that Constantin Brâncuș has created. His pieces of art are really priceless. He, by the way, was a very poor young man. He lived in the region of Bukovina, where, just for you to remember where the monasteries are, and he walked from there literally almost to Paris. But he was determined that he is going to go to Paris and continue his studies of sculpturing. The lady that we see here is Anna Blendiana. You see, during the communism period, anyone who was against the government, especially the artsy people, were put in jails, men and women. There were even children born in these jails. There were 88 jails. One of them was in Siget. Her father was a poet. He was put in the Sige jail. After the revolution, she's an author in her own right. She applied for some EU funds and she turned the jail into, it's called in Romanian Memorial. Basically, it's a memorial, it's a museum where you walk around through the various floors and the cells and you see what was happening. Most of the Romanian people come to visit this place. Many school students are coming. Once a year in July, was just there, she comes and she organizes a conference for educators to learn, to understand of what happened and what can be done to stop any kind of ruling parties. Just in brackets, Romania in May went through elections and almost there was going to be a disaster and another ruler would have won. So the young generation is not aware. So this is the pain that the Romanians still carry. Okay, and the last one is Gheorghe Zamfir, beautiful music. You can hear it on YouTube and so on. Next, please. I'm sure many of you have been to the art museum in Ein Hod in Israel, but I'm not sure that you realize that Marcel Iancu is like Yaakov, like Jacob, was the founder of the Dada movement in Romania. So I just wanted to mention that. Next, please. Now, here we are in Cluj. This is Tamara. Tamara is a second generation. Her parents were deported to Auschwitz. And this behind her is the Holocaust Memorial in Cluj. Cluj is also known as like Silicon Valley. Lots and lots of companies from England, Germany, Italy, and France have businesses in, it's a bit out of Cluj, like 15 minutes drive. Tamara addresses groups. She's a lovely person. She used to be an assistant to a newspaper during communism and following after. And today she retired, of course, and she spends her time attending lectures, going to the museums. She's a lively and lovely person. Next, please. And this is Romania. They love life, food, and they're friendly people. So let me tell you, you see this tree that has all these pots on it, and we are going to see it. This means that this house has a young woman who's ready to be married. So the more pots you have on the tree means that you are well-to-do, rich, and you are waiting that somebody will knock at your door and bring a nice groom. All the socks that you see here on the floor and a little bit of garlic, that's taken in the market, in one of the markets. Old ladies, I shouldn't use the word old, but advanced in age ladies, that the pension money that they receive really is not enough. They find ways to supplement their income. And one of them, of course, since they know how to knit, they knit. These socks I also buy from them for the winter months. And so they are growing garlic and whatever. They are very good as business people. They find ways to merchandise whatever they can to make a little bit more money. Thank you. Next. And now we got to the most important thing. Now, I don't know if you can see it. Jeff, can you see the spoon, the wooden spoon?
I'll hide the video for a second here. Hold on.
Okay.
There you go.
So here is a wooden spoon and paprika. These two items are very, very important in the Romanian kitchen. They're very smart. Bring it back, please, the items. When you cook, it's better to use wooden utensils rather than metal. Now, here are some of the highlights of the food that we eat. So the mamaliga is polenta, and you see they take a rope, a small piece of rope, and they use it to cut. Now, why is this a popular item to eat? Because a farmer leaves the house at 5 o'clock in the morning, spring to fall, I mean, not in the winter. And he takes a piece of this mamaliga, which fills him up for the rest of the day. By the way, in South America, the farmers eat chia because chia in water grows, so fills up the tummy and you don't need more food until later in the afternoon when you go home. The next delicious thing is papanash on top of the mamaliga. Now, in brackets, the Ottoman period and also the Hungarian, Austrian Empire influenced the food, and so did the Jews. Now, if you look very carefully at this papanash, and you forget about the white, which is sour cream, or the jam, it is a sufgania. It is like we bake them, we make them for Hanukkah. Across from it, we have the chremsli, which are basically potato pancakes. And these things appear in every menu in Maramures. It is part of the food. And then you have a cheese tray with meats, non-kosher meats, veggies, and this is what you're being served as part of your breakfast. It doesn't mean you have to eat what you don't like if you're vegetarian or you don't eat non-kosher meats, but this is the format that they offer for a platter. By the way, the Romanian food is very oily. Sometimes could be very salty. And if you are going to join us on the tour, I highly recommend not to eat too oily stuff, because if our system is not used to it, we can get a little bit not too well. But we are looking forward to the good stuff, of course, to the papanash and chremsli and so on. Next, please. Here, I just wanted to share with you some interesting moments that I experienced with former people who lived in the region in Maramures or their descendants. Here we see on the right hand a lady. She's still alive. She's 94. And she met a former student that just on the street, she saw him and he said to her, "Are you so and so?" She left Romania in the late 60s. Many of the Jewry of Romania, if they didn't leave before communism started, then their next opportunity was in the early 60s when Israel used to pay money for every Jew to leave Romania. And Ceausescu used the money for his gold water tubs in his bathtub or things as such, instead of taking care of his own citizens. But I want to tell you also a funny story with this lady. She came with her two sons on a short trip, and she wanted to go to get her birth certificate. I made arrangements with the mayor of this small town, a young man, a former football player, was really cool. And he brings the books. Oh, and he's asking, "When were you born?" Well, many Jewish people didn't know January, February, March. They remembered Hanukkah, Pesach, Purim. So she said Hanukkah. So I said November, December, or January, depending on the year. And she also quoted a year. We couldn't find her. She said, "But I know that my parents registered me," or whatever. Anyways, I always recommend to go 2-3 years one way, 2-3 years the other way, and hopefully we found her. But guess what? She became older by 4 years, and she did not want to accept. So that was really, it's the way, when you do genealogy, it's a Pandora box. You never know what you can discover. And on the left, we see a nice gentleman who no longer is with us, who came with his two sons and his two daughters-in-law, his wife, and he met the mayor of a small village. And you can see the book that the secretary is holding, and he received a new birth certificate and was very happy, and that was the highlight of his trip. So these special moments are really closing circles for the individual, for their families, for everyone. Next, please. Thank you very much. And here is my email, our website. We have a Facebook, everything. Thank you. And I'm sure some of you have some questions, so I transfer it to Jeff, please.
Absolutely. Penina, thank you so much. There was a tremendous amount that we covered, and I'm sure there are already several questions in the Q&A. Reminder to everybody, you can post your questions there. We'll get to as many as we can. Before we do, just a reminder, of course, we've got lots of trips coming up. If you go to our website, you can find information about the upcoming trip with Yael Strom and Elizabeth Schwartz. Penina, of course, is going to be with the group when they're in Romania. We had somebody ask the question, are you going to be there? And the answer is yes. So you can find that and many other destinations. Yael and Elizabeth, of course, bring an incredible musical element to every trip that they are on. Yael happens to be very well versed in Roma music, and so that will be incorporated into the tour itself as well. So find out information about that one here. There's a pretty picture. That tour and lots more on our website, ayala.com. Okay, lots of questions to get to. Hey, there you are. Okay. I've got several that we're going to get to. One interesting one that's a kind of a linguistic question that maybe you can answer from Ricky Lippitz, who would like to know the SQ that's often at the end. It's seen in many Romanian names at the end. Is there a specific meaning? What does that mean?
No meaning. It's just the Romanians love to add some letters. For example, um, in like we have in English, good, better, best. They don't have such a thing. They make it, they add some letters or some sounds. Mikutsu. The tsu makes it very tiny, very small. And Grigorescu, Popescu, all these, the ku is like for us, we, something like this. I don't know if I made a lot of sense, but
No, no, it
that's how
does.
it
Yeah.
is.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, like Ceausescu. Which
Right.
I, I imagine if you ask people in Romania about him, he's not such a popular figure.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Depends. They are actually, they had a survey. Everything is as a result of the elections that we went through. And the survey showed, unfortunately, that 62% of the Romanian citizens today are longing for that time.
No,
I
come
told
on.
you. Yes, I told you. They used to get free tickets for culture, free tickets to go on vacation for a week to the beach. But you know what? If we take this analogy to the Bible, when the children of Israel left Egypt and they are in the desert, they start to cry, Ephon, Betzalim, Bekishuim, and everything. Where are all the vegetables that we had? So human beings sometimes tend to forget very fast, even bad times.
That was, yeah, those were some bad times. Yeah. Okay. Keep going. Lots of questions here. Arlene Glass asked, "Are you going to be part of the tour?" The answer is yes. We answered that. She says, "I plan to register soon, but after the tour is over, want to go to," and she lists several places. And actually, I'm asking this not just for Arlene, but there were several people that wanted to know if it's possible to arrange for personal travel after or before the trip.
Yeah, we can make that to happen. Did she
Okay.
mention where she would like to go? Just
Oh
out
my
of
goodness, yeah.
curiosity.
Vaslui, you're gonna
Vaslui.
make me pronounce these places. Husi and Draceni? Draceni?
I don't,
Dranceni?
I don't know. Maybe mispronounced. Yeah.
I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it, but she said her mother's father was born in Dranceni or whatever it is, and great great grandparents and great 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 grandparents were from Husi. Um,
Aha.
so it's
Ushi. Yeah.
Husi. Yeah, so there's a lot of them. All
Yeah.
right,
So I'm sure that we can work it out. Some
absolutely.
arrangements after.
Absolutely. One more linguistic question from Barry Mann, who would like to know why did the spelling change from Romania with a RU to Romania, RO?
I never knew RU,
All right.
only Romania with an O.
Well, then we can't answer that question. Okay. All right. Miriam Yarkoni. Thank you, Penina. Can't wait for our family trip. So it's somebody you know.
Yeah,
Um,
she's coming on the night. The week in 3 weeks, she'll be in Romania
Very
with the
nice.
whole family.
Very nice, very nice. All right, a question, actually, a couple questions about the Holocaust. David Mueller mentioned, you mentioned a figure of 12,500 being deported from
From
Seagate.
Siget, yes.
From Seagate. Do you have some statistics in terms of what the Jewish population was before the war? How many
Absolutely.
survived the war?
Yeah, excellent question. So just before in 1940 census, they were 850,000 Jews, almost a million of Jews across Romania. Now, most of them were in the North Transylvania area because that was quite a dense area of Jews. Bukovina, Yash, and in the south, Bucharest and a few cities there. Now, out of all these numbers, only 250 remained.
1,000.
1,000, yes.
Just clarify.
And most of them, through the years, as I said, either right after the war or in the 60s, they moved to Israel as a first hop, as a first station. But then many of them left and moved to the States, to Canada. Basically, that's what happened. Yeah.
Okay. A lot of people writing in, Tova Wax, my ancestors were from Yash. Richard Hurst, I love this question because it's a question of time and place. Richard writes, my great-grandfather was born in Yash and had some connections with the Hasidic court in Sadagura. What kind of community would a place like Sadagura have had around 1900?
A very Hasidic one, even in Kiat Ranyamtz, which the tour will go through, is the one and only wooden synagogue where the Baal Shem Tov, who is the one who established Hasidut, used to pray in that synagogue. So the area, what we can call the former Basarabia area, was a very highly religious, a small spot. Much more they were in Satu Mare in North Transylvania, but this was on the opposite direction.
Okay. So two questions I'll combine into one. Linda Kastner writes in, my mom, again, we had a lot of people talking about their roots. My mom was born in Galati.
Galat.
She called it
Yeah.
Galat, is what it
Yeah.
says. And my dad in Chernovich.
Chernowitz, yeah.
When he was born, 1924, that was in Romania. So
Correct.
both are technically Romanian. They ended up in Winnipeg before the war. Good luck.
Ah,
Yeah,
nice.
very good luck. Question is, can one go to Chernovitz now? Or because it's in Ukraine, is it too dangerous?
Very good.
I should say the other question that I was going to combine with this is we have somebody who wrote in, how much has Romania been affected by the current Russia-Ukraine war?
Okay, so the second part I'll do after. So Chernowitz, it is safe to go. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be there at the end of October at a teachers seminar where we teach the teachers about Holocaust studies. They have a very vibrant rabbi, so it's okay to go. It is in Ukraine. From Suchava, it's just 2 hours, or from Yash, it's 3 hours. Now, how much was Romania affected by Ukraine and Russia war? Well, number one, it was affected, as I mentioned during the presentation, for example, in Siget, that most of the women and children were crossing the border to run away from there. And there was another spot in Bukovina that is called Stiret. That was another stop. And the Romanian government, the Red Cross, and all the rest of the not-for-profit organizations built tents with, it was in February, March, so it was extremely cold, doing kitchen food and taking care of them medically and so on. There is a constant fear. This is a political issue that Romania still is part of NATO, is constantly on the watch. And this is not an easy feeling. So a few times at the north border, parts of certain ammunition fell on the side of Romania. I think 2 weeks ago, 2 planes right away jumped in the air because the Russian planes got out of their official space You know, there is the airspace that every country keeps.
Yep.
So they had to see what's going on. So they are in full alert, let's put it this way.
So, but day-to-day life in Bucharest or Iași
Oh,
or things
it's
like that.
safe. There's nothing what to worry about. If somebody thinks that, you know, I shouldn't go just because of that. No, that's not. Actually, just to say, Romania is a highlight in tourism. It was just featured in the New York Times a few days ago about the special spa in Bucharest, Terma, which I think is a lovely, lovely one-day experience and so on. So instead of going to London, Paris, Germany, much safer, nicer, and you will enjoy it very much. It's a different flavor.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, a couple other things. We'll start to wrap up. We're obviously a little over time, but okay. All right. Janet, Damien, thank you for writing in and clarifying. Romania with the U is the British spelling, so that's the answer to that one. Thank you,
Thank
Janet.
you.
Barry Mann wrote in and said you didn't mention Vlad the Impaler.
Oh, wow. Because it's completely out of Jewish heritage, and I don't go for these kinds of things. But it's not even on our itinerary.
Oh,
So,
there you go. You can look online about Vlad. All right.
right.
Can you just talk a little bit about we talked about the cities. Ruth Bernstein asks if you could just speak for a minute about the geography of Romania itself, like the landscape, the topography. If you were to drive from point to point, is it flat? Is it hilly? Is it mountainous? What are you going to see?
Well, let me start with the good news. There are no highways. You cannot drive too fast. It's beautiful areas of lowland. So Bucharest and the south is very low. However, once you pass Galați and Iași, you kind of get into the Carpathian Mountains. So you are in the mountains, but it's so pretty. And if you are lucky, you can even see a bear. So it's
Right.
really special.
Very nice. Ricky Lippitz asked if I mean, obviously the trip coming up with Yale Strom and Elizabeth Schwartz, it's going to have a musical element. I mentioned that that's really a big part of their focus. Can you talk a little bit about the music of the region?
Well, I said already that the Hora was adopted by the state of Israel. And the music, there is a group of people that I didn't mention, and that is the Roma, or the way they were called before gypsies, or Tsiganer, maybe you heard from your parents. Today we refer to them as Roma. So most of the music in Romania is using, they are basically like our klezmer music, fiddlers. Many of them, the older of them, like in Sige, there is a gentleman who I always invite when we have groups because he was taught by a Jewish fiddler most of the area songs for weddings, for funerals, for bar mitzvahs, and so on. And he still remembers and he plays them. So the music is very lively. The minute you hear, you feel like jumping to dance. And it reminds a lot of the Jewish music.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Yale is an ethnomusicologist who has done
Right.
extensive research and including making documentaries in Romania. So that will absolutely be interwoven into the tour itself. Okay, I think we've got to wrap this up. But Penina, It has been an absolute
Two more
pleasure.
questions.
No,
How
no,
about
no, no. Let's we I think we hit a good point to wrap this up at this point. But
okay?
Penina, I want to thank you for taking the time. I want to remind everybody out there. Of course, we've got the trip in May that's going to Romania. Many other trips that you can find information about. Yael and Elizabeth have an Eastern European trip. If you just can't wait, they're going this October. We've got a lot coming up, as I mentioned at the beginning. Savor is another organization we work with. They work with cuisine, they work with Sephardic music, and they're going to be doing a trip to Italy next year. They have a virtual program that we'll be running with them on August 17th. That's a Sunday in the evening. So keep an eye on your inbox for information about that and other future virtual programs. If you enjoyed this, tell other people. And I think that's about it. Penina, thank you so much for taking the time to walk us through a bit of Jewish and general history from Romania. It's very much a pleasure, and I truly appreciate it. And until next time, thank you.
Thank you very much to everyone, and I hope we'll meet.
Absolutely.
Lovely. Good night. Bye.
All the best. Go through.